everybody, and we are here again for a new episode of the Figure Out English podcast for English learners. The transcript will be available as usual on figureoutenglish.com, as well as the learning notes and practice exercises. And let's start! Hello guys, and welcome to a new vocabulary episode of the Figure Out English podcast. You can find us on iTunes, on Spotify, and Google Podcasts, and practically in every podcast app which you are using. And we are also on Patreon, and if you would like to support our work, that's a great chance. Go to patreon.com/stordar, and there you can find all the latest episodes, extra materials, video lessons, and everything which you need to improve your English vocabulary skills, basically, because these days I'm talking more and more about vocabulary, about collocations, about phrasal verbs, because this is really what you find useful. And thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your trust. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode too, because it's a very handy thing. I will be talking about the ways to showcase your skills. How to say that you can do something well at your job interview, in your resume, when talking about other people, when giving references to other people, and so on. Well, we need this vocabulary all the time, but it's not easy to find all these phrases. Let's learn them. The first thing, and I've already talked about it before, how to use the phrase to be good at, right? You can say, I'm good at doing something. So I'm good at singing, I'm good at learning languages, and so on and so on. And you can play with this phrase. I told you before, right? You can say, I'm excellent at doing something. I am perfect at. I am a genius at. But you always follow this structure. You always say, I'm good at doing something. You can also use the adjective good without this structure, but in this case you will change the preposition into with. So you will say, I'm good with people. I'm good with numbers. Me personally, one big talent I have, I'm good with languages. What are you good with? Or what are you good at doing? Answer these questions in the comments. Let's talk about you a little bit. But we are going on, and what are the phrases you can use to describe your talents? So for example, you will say to have skills, to have some skills. Yeah? For example, I have good people skills. My friend has good communication skills, about explaining things to people. Yeah, so to be a teacher, you need to have good communication skills. And I hope you understand the difference between communication skills and interaction skills, because they're basically two different things. To communicate means to give your idea to somebody, to explain your idea to somebody so well that they understand. That's why I say that teachers should have communication skills, because for us the most important thing is that you understand what I'm talking about. But if you mean people interacting, if you mean that you are in good contact, always positive, have very good relationships with everybody, it's better to say interaction skills. Yeah? Well, I can't say I have very good interaction skills because I am an introvert, but of course, interaction skills are also very important for a teaching job. In this case, you know now how to use it, to have some skills, yes? To have people skills, to have interaction skills, to have financial skills, and so on. Okay? I would like to warn you guys here against the use of the word to have an ability, especially in your writing. If you listen to my course about email writing, I told you in one of the lessons that when you write emails, resume, doesn't matter, you try to avoid the verbs be and have. You don't use them too much because it decreases the dynamics of your text. Have and be are called weak verbs, which means that if you have too many haves in your sentences, it will be more difficult for people to read it. So for example, how are your communication abilities? Yeah? How are your language abilities? But when you want to say, I have the ability of doing something, I recommend you to replace this phrase with, okay, I'm good at doing something. It's more dynamic, it's more natural for English language. And the difference between skills and abilities, this is also a very interesting question, right? Because people don't always understand, and in some languages these words are translated similarly. Skills, it is what you learn, and it's more technical things, so something what you do. And abilities, it is usually natural stuff. So we often say about natural abilities, yeah? And well, I have a very high language ability. I can't say, well, I don't believe that, because it's all the result of my work, and I believe that I have very strong language learning skills, but different people believe differently, and of course, so try not to mix them up. So when you talk about your job, it's better to use skills, because ability will be something more inborn, something more what you have in your character and in your skill set, so to say. Okay, let's go on. And I've already mentioned that if you are writing a resume, a CV, whatever, you want to use the action verbs. You want to use the strong verbs. That's why if you want to say, for example, I have very good conflict skills, I would recommend you to replace it with I manage conflicts well. Manage, deal with, handle. This is very good action verbs for your CV. I think I will record the episode about that, because I would like to talk more about these verbs of actions, yeah, because they really showcase your vocabulary when you use a lot of them, but not have and be all the time. But in general, yes, when we talk about skills, use these verbs to manage something or to manage to do something. Yeah, I managed to organize the project, for example, very quickly. Yeah, something like that. Handle, deal with. This will give a very good impression both about your skills and about your English. How else you can describe brilliant skills which you have? We can say to have a flair for. So I have a flair for languages. My friend has a flair for numbers. She's so good with numbers, yeah? You can say, for example, to do something in your sleep. Well, I can do math in my sleep. It's not a problem. I can speak English only. I think I can speak English in my sleep, for example, yeah? You can say to have a magic touch. So she has a magic touch in design, for example. She's so good at design. She has amazing design skills, for example, yeah? Okay, you also can say to ace something. So he aces negotiations. It means he closes all the deals at the negotiations. So he's so good at it, for example, yeah? And we often say to have an eye for. So he has an eye for investment, yeah? He feels the good investment beforehand, and it's his talent, it's his natural gift, it's his natural ability. So he has an eye for doing that, or for that. That's a lot of phrases. Please practice, write your own examples. I will be very happy to comment on your examples, and remember that you only learn vocabulary when you try to use it in your own speaking and writing. That's why maybe you will add a couple of phrases into your resume. Well, tell me about it. Tell me how it goes, and I'm really interested. And finishing this episode, I would like to give you some more words about the talented person. So how can you say that somebody is very good at something? Well, you can say he's a master. Yeah, so he's a singing master. He sings so well, right? You can say a king or a queen. So she's a queen in design, yeah? Or she's a design queen, for example. He is a negotiation king. He's so good at negotiations. If the person is talented or gifted, we often say prodigy. He's a real prodigy, okay? He's a prodigy in meetings, I don't know, in planning, in budgeting, yeah, if you want to talk about the business skills. And we also often say, you are a natural. She's a natural, he is a natural. It means that the person has so strong abilities for something, yeah? She's a real natural. She's so good at it naturally. I hope it helps, and of course, improve your business vocabulary. Read as much as possible, listen to the podcasts, and when you notice these words, then try to use them in your own speaking and writing, and I'm sure it will help. I will see you in the next episode, and if you like our podcast, please go to patreon.com/Stordar and make a small donation. We will really appreciate that. We are really working for you. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Please visit figureoutenglish.com for a free download of the transcript and learning notes. Don't forget to share and comment. Cheers!